It is the 12th of the 12th, 2024, and I had a very many different items on the docket today. Wanted to talk to you guys about Checo Perez, how that fella wants himself 75 million euros to get himself out of his contract. So too, I wanted to talk about Eddie Jordan. Keep fighting a good fight, Eddie Jordan, after announcing very candidly on the Formula for Success podcast that he's been suffering from a very aggressive type of cancer. Keep fighting the good fight, sir. And he talked on his podcast. He said about George Russell and Maximilian Verstappen, that's how drivers are supposed to talk to each other. I wanted to address those today. Talk about those. I wanted to talk about the fact that one Helmut Marko favours one Yuki Tsunoda, whereas Christian Horner favours one Liam Lawson to supersede if indeed they can buy the Mexican Minister of Defence out of his contract. I wanted to talk about all these things. I had no aspirations, nor did I harbour them, to talk about Mohammed bin Sulayem, and yet again this dude just finds his way onto my newsfeed, and I cannot believe this dude. He's done it again, ladies and gentlemen. How are we here talking about this fella yet again for the umpteenth time? This makes no sense. F1 as a sporting endeavour and as a community deserves better. For the avoidance of doubt, to set the table, Mohammed bin Sulayem is currently and stands to be for some years, if word on the F1 curb is to be believed, the head of the FIA. As its remit, the FIA levels the playing field and ensures that all related parties are safeguarded. That's their remit. Those are the two central tenets. So why every single day do I flick through my news with a view to come and present to you the synthesis of story, arc and news? Do I hear this dude talking about something that he shouldn't be talking about? Lest we forget, over the past 24 months, he's talked about the asset value of F1. Lest we forget, he is the regulator. Why is he getting involved in FOM business? What's commercial value to him? If indeed commercial value were anything, surely he should be looking to increase it, not decrease the commercial value of F1 so that his mates can purchase it at bargain basement prices. Lest we forget, calling out Susie Wolf for conflicting demands, isn't it? Or conflict of interest without any evidence, saying that he was going to go investigate it. What? What are we doing here? This makes no sense. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Henry. This, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, makes no sense. We remember him a couple of weeks ago saying, what about me? Everybody talks about British bias, that the drivers are victimised, that they have to race 24 races, that this is fatigue central. But what about me? Mohammed bin Sulayem said, how they've treated me, victimised me, always playing the victim. Therefore, I am done. I am at my wit's end now. Scorched earth settings each and every single time, because this dude outdoes himself. Attention seeking settings extraordinaire. Every time you see a driver cross the finish line, who's there next to him trying to shake his hand? You saw Oscar Jack Piastri have to push the dude out the way. So disenchanted is he with the attention seeking ways in extremis of the head of the FIA. What are we doing here? Lest we forget again, a gazillion people have left that organisation. They brought in some good ones, but your ability to be successful in this world is by dint of your ability to attract and keep good people. They attracted them, but they all left. And Raul, Nielsen, Wittich, all of them have either left or been sacked. Lest we forget that there is a commission set to regulate the regulator. There were 4 people on that panel. He sacked 2 of them. What are we doing? Marking our own homework, apparently. George Russell, head of the GPDA the other day, said all I need for them to do is cooperate. We didn't know that Nils Wittich was being sacked. Engage with us as the bloody drivers, for Pete's sake. If we're the key asset, nobody will turn up to a race if there are no drivers, lest we forget. And this is the automotive pugilistic equation that the FIA need to solve for. However, they're not going to do it with Mohammed bin Sulayem at the helm. Nobody trusts that fella. Nobody can even give that dude counsel. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is what that dude has said. Beggars belief. I SH1T you not. Here's what he's told at motorsport.com in an interview recently. Today, quote, it's very nice to talk about all of this stuff about stewards having them full time. But when they say professional stewards, they want professional, they don't want to pay for it. That is so obvious. Ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, are we not conflating issues here? Why would the drivers pay for stewards? Are they the heads of the FIA, the regulatory body of the sporting endeavour that we call the Wonder Fs? No, they are not. So why then should they pay for it? FOM pays the FIA for the avoidance about $40 million a year to do their job. Bill Belichick settings. This is nothing more complicated or simple than that. So if you get 40 million, you're telling me you can't afford to throw some money, an annual wage as far as remuneration, at a set of stewards who operate in a way that's full time. This is what we're positing here. Listen, for the avoidance of doubt, what we'll never do on this channel is sacrifice objectivity nor truth value at the altar of partisanship and or unreason. This is nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want to pay for it. What, you want the drivers to mark their own homework just like you and pay for full-time students? Behave yourself. He continues. They talk and then they say, where are you putting the money? Why don't we do this? But I say, oh, sorry, what about you? The drivers are getting over 100 million. Do I ask where they spend it? No, it's up to them. It's their right. What is he talking about? What? Is he okay? Is he okay? Non-rhetorical question. You're seeing the drivers and raising them this, asking them to pay to do the job that you're installed to do. Mohammed Ben Sulayem. Am I losing? I must be missing something. This can't read right. Autosport must have printed this out wrong. Transposition error all over the shop. It makes no sense. We don't ask them where they spend their money. No, but you are the FIA, chap. You are the regulatory body. You've just sacked 2 of the 4 panel, the audit committee that was set to do all of this stuff. So where is the money going? Well, apparently it's going into a 1.35 million presidential fund that you're going to leverage to make sure that the bodies who vote for the president going forward, that they bend the knee towards you, that you get their vote. Apparently, he continues, by the way. But I don't really sometimes understand. It's always about the FIA. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? But did anybody go to the FOM? No, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, I can answer that question for you, chap, because the FOM are the commercial rights holders. They deal with all of that commercials, right? You know, all that asset value stuff that you try to get your nose involved in. That's their remit. Your remit is safeguarding and ensuring that we have a level playing field. What's so difficult about that? He says, I say it again, stewards do not grow on trees. Yeah, but so why do you keep sacking all of them? The platinum ones, there aren't even any more that you can appoint. Janet Tang just recently left. Nils Wittich just recently sacked. There aren't any more. You've dwindled the pool down to 0. Sir, this is a tragedy of the commons. What are we doing? It takes time to educate them. It takes time to train them, he says, and then you can evolve them. So we have a program. So then why did you just sack the F2 one? She was meant to be one of the good ones. You were meant to bring her along. She was meant to supersede Nils Wittich et al. Do you know what I mean? Rui Marquez. Why didn't you keep her in place, incentivize her? Now you sacked her because she, like all the others who have been asking questions, posed challenge. But this is what you're supposed to do in a progressive organization, right? It's meant to be a conversation. You're meant to encourage constructive challenge amongst your human resource. But I digress. He continues. I see the point about having them maybe like the Premier League where the referees are paid, but we don't have the money to do that, he says. He continues. So we have to also be careful of the way that we are going. As long as they're committed, fair and trained properly, then our stewards will come and go. It's very nice talk, but when they say professional, they want professional and they don't want to pay for it. He's talking about the drivers, disenchanting them each and every single time. What happened to collaboration? Each and every single time the FA drop an official statement, they talk about how well they've done, how open and honest and transparent they are, as apparently they were when investigating Mohammed Ben Sulayem, when apparently, allegedly, he involved himself where he wasn't due, trying to reinstate Fernando Alonso with an Aramco-sponsored rear wing into 3rd place at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix last year. What happened to that? Have you seen that investigation? Because I have not. He continues. Beggars belief. I promise you, I'm not making this up. He says they talk and then they say, where are you putting the money? Why don't you do this? Oh, sorry. What about you? The drivers are getting over 100 million. Do I ask where they spend it? No, it's up to them. It's their right. What? Are we even trying to do apples and apples comparisons here? Or are we just openly, honestly doing apples and oranges? He continues. So please, it's not only me saying this, that it's none of their business. We do whatever we want with our money. They do whatever they want with their money. Yeah, okay, let's talk about this very quickly. The FIA, 1.35 million presidential fund. What about that? Again, leveraging that to get votes for this time next year when there's another presidential election of the FIA variety. How about the extortionate private jet spend that Mohammed Ben Sulayem's incurred and try to expense that to the FIA? What? That's why people are asking questions, because the money's being spent in a way that's not fit for purpose. Improve the sport, improve your ability to regulate through, make sure that the transponders work so that when Lando Norris and Checo Perez do full starts, you can see it. Put some people in place who have something about them, who are decent racing minds, who have a bit of common sense, which apparently in the FIA, the regulatory body of Formula One, is none too common. Surely we can do better than this at this stage. I understand why the teams are potentially going to leave him in place until December 2025 because the optics are too bad. But going forward, something, ladies and gentlemen, needs to be done because this is out of hand. I beg the FIA, I beg the FOM to address this forthwith in real time, lest it get out of hand if it hasn't already. What are we doing here?